Python List Volume 1.
Good evening, myself Srinath. Okay, because other department students are also here. I'm working as assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Yeah. Can you see the slide? What I shared here? Just in Python. One is the list. Second one is like a list. Any idea like what exactly are in the list or what the content I'm going to cover? These are the different content that I'm going to cover. Yeah. So let us understand these things. So before we go to straight away jump to the concept of list, let us understand what is the concept of array in the other conventional programming languages like C, C++, Java, and all. Then we'll come to the concept of the list. The meaning of the array is like what do you mean by an array? Because all of you learned C, C++, Java. So what is the definition of an array? Anybody, can you tell me what is the definition of an array? So usually what you learned so far, the concept of array is the collection of similar data types. Collection of similar data types under single heading. That is what the concept of an array. Continuously it will store or allocate a memory in RAM. So that memory either it can be static or it can be dynamic. Based on the requirement, we will allocate a memory. So dynamic allocation we'll do by using different methods. We'll ask the user, then once he or she gives the limit of the array size, based on that we'll allocate a memory. So thereby we can save the memory. So here what is going to happen, the concept of the list is similar to the array what you learned in the other programming languages. The main difference between the list and the array here it is, list can contain any data type. In Python, as you already come across, you have only three basic data types. One is the int, second one is the float, third one is the string. So you can have even the list inside a list. Even you can have list inside a list. That also you can include inside the list. So that is what called as cascaded list. We'll call it as. So it means that the list can contain any data type, irrespective of the data type. You can have or you can include that inside a list. So how we can define lists are used to store multiple items in a single variable. That's the one thing. And lists are one of the four built-in data types in Python used to store collection of the data. The other three are the tuple, set, and dictionary, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, all with the different qualities and the usage. We'll discuss those things later. I mean, in the later classes. Okay, list in Python are ordered and have a definite count. It means like you can find the length of the list, and what are the elements that you give in the first place that will be stay at this first place only. So that is what the property of the list. The elements in a list are indexed according to a definite sequence, and the indexing of a list is done with zero being the first index. It is exactly similar to your array concept. It means that the first element is at the index 0 and the last element is at the n minus 1. If the length of the whole list is n, then the last element is at the index n minus 1. Okay, it is similar to your array concept, what you learned in the conventional programming language like C, C++, and Java. Each element in the list has its definite place in the list, which allows the duplication, okay, of the elements in the list. It means like you can have element like 1 comma 1, 2 comma 3, 3 comma 3. It means like elements can be duplicated. So there is no restriction like you cannot have the duplicated elements, because in the other data structures that you are going to discuss, you cannot have the same element twice. Example is set. Set cannot hold or you cannot put the same element more than once. That we'll discuss in the later classes. So just to make a difference here, it is included that the elements cannot be duplicated, with each element having its own distinct place and credibility. And lists are created by using these different syntaxes. Look into this. How we can create a list. So here we can create a list by using the square bracket. Okay, this is an empty list, example of the list, okay, which contains nothing. So if you just use this syntax, you can create an empty list. And here we have one more list with the three elements or the three entities, okay, three items. The first one is apple. I mean, all three what we have included here it is strings. Okay, it's a list of fruit. And one more property which is provided in the Python here is like you can print the whole list, okay, just by calling this name, print and call this. This facility is not available in your C programming language. Okay, what exactly we need to do to print the whole list in C? We need to, one second. Yeah, now is it
Yes,
visible?
sir.
Fine. Okay, just look into this one. This is the syntax to create the list. Here it is. We can create an empty list by using the square bracket. Then we can create a list by using three strings. One is apple, banana, and the cherry. You can give any name here it is. There is one beauty of the Python programming language. So here it is not required to explicitly declare any variables. Just use the variable name on the left side of the assignment operator automatically. Based on the type of the data that you are given on the right side of this assignment operator, the value which is assigned to this variable takes the type. That you can check by using a type function. I will show you that when we go to this spider. I'll take you that spider IDE and I will execute some programs over there. So I was just telling that one, this is how exactly you can print the whole list by just passing the name of the list as a parameter to this print function. Okay. The same thing if you want to achieve in C program language, you just imagine what we need to do. We need to write one for loop, and inside that for loop, we need to print that by using the index. Like, okay, A of I means I is an index that will keep iterating and it will print all the elements. So now, just by calling or passing this list name, you can print the whole list. So we have one more way of creating a list. So how we can create? So just look into this one. Here we are not explicitly called any constructors like in your Java and C++ to create a list. This syntax itself, it will create a list automatically. Enclose any data inside square bracket that automatically creates a list. One more syntax here it is. Here we are calling the list constructor like in your Java and C++. Okay. So, but one thing you need to note down here it is like inside this list constructor, we need to enclose the elements inside a parenthesis. The double round parenthesis. Here you need to enclose all the elements that are part of your list must be inside parenthesis. That is how we can create. Usually we won't follow this procedure. Most of the time we will go with provided if you want to create a list with static values. Okay. Or else you can create an empty list like this also straight away, which is of length 0. List with 0. Fine. And you can also print this list by using calling this print function. And as you already learned part of the Python, print function internally or implicitly embedded with the /n. Okay, no need to explicitly use /n here it is. Once it prints automatically, the cursor comes to the next line. Fine. Next, just look into this code, creating a list, how you can create a list. This is a blank list, how you can create. As I told you, if you just include this square bracket on the right side of the assignment operator, automatically it creates a list with the variable name list. So please note it down. You cannot use list because if it is a small letter, since it's a capital letter, it is allowed. Otherwise, list is a constructor as we have seen in the previous slide. If it is a small L, LIST, it is a constructor. So since it is a capital L, again that treats as a different variable. You have created an empty list here it is, and creating a list of numbers. This is how we can create a list of numbers. Just use list L is equals to, then followed by this list of numbers. After that, creating a list of strings and accessing using the index. This is how we can create a list of strings. Then list of 0, obviously it will point to the first element in the list, Greeks. A list of 2, again it is one more. Okay. So this is how we can, this is a list of 0, list of 1, and then list of 2. Creating multi-dimensional list. So as I told you, like list can contain a list inside as an element. So list is the first element, a main element here it is, and this geeks and for are the elements. First element, this is a sub list here it is, inside a list. Okay. It means that, one second. Yeah, look at this. Here we have a list. This sublist is the first element of the list. Then this is the second element. Okay. If I want to access this for, what would be the syntax here it is? How can you access or how can you print this for here it is? So how do you print this one? The syntax to print this one is like this. Okay. How do you print? Suppose I want to print this element. How do you print it?
List index 1.
Exactly. List of, okay. You need to use list of, okay. What is the first element here it is? It is this complete sublist signifies it is a element 0. So you use 0. So now you pointed to this sublist here it is. Okay. Inside this one, what we need to represent? This is how we can access this element. So first you went to this first element inside this main list. So this element, this complete sublist, what we have geeks comma 0, this complete sublist is treated as one element. Let us assume, like, suppose if it contains one more list, I will just put a comma here it is, and I will have one more list. Okay, A comma B. Fine. Okay, I will use B here it is. Yeah. Now, how can I access this element? I want to access B. What is the syntax here it is?
0, 1, 1.
Exactly. Very good. 0, 1, 1. So this is how you can cascade a list inside a list. So this is how you can access the element. Excellent. Okay. So if you understand these things, you can easily create two-dimensional or any dimensional. Usually the Python is, as you already aware of that one, it is meant to do data analytics. Data analytics, when you have used the word data analytics, means probably you know that we need to deal with many features. So how do you represent the multidimensional data? This is how we can represent, and this is how we can deal with the multidimensional data. So usually if you want to use more than 4 or 5 dimensionals, and then internally if it contains more features, this is how we can go in deep and get the data. So this syntax, probably this syntax helps you how you can get the data out of, okay, with multidimensionals. Fine. Next, what we can understand, creating a list with multiple distinct or duplicate elements. Okay, a list may contain duplicate values with their distinct positions, and hence multiple distinct or duplicate values can be passed as sequence at the time of the list creation. Look at this syntax. We can have multiple data with the same values. It means that list allows same element more than once. A list with the same number of list with the use of numbers. So you can print this list and creating a list with the mixed type of the values. So this is one more property of the list, very much distinct with other programming languages. What is that one is? You are creating a list with integers. Okay, first two values are the integers, followed by the string, then integer, again string, and you can have one more string here. This comma 5.78. So just look at this one. As I told you, basic data types which are available in Python are integer, float, and the string. These are the main 3 basic data types which are available in Python. And what is one more beauty of this is no need to explicitly declare the variables like in C and C++. Whatever the value that you assign on the right side, example here is like, say for example, if I have A is equals to 40, obviously then A becomes, okay, there's a function. Okay, I'll just take you to this one. Yeah, this is an ID. You know what is an ID, and probably you might have already worked on this.
Yes, sir. We worked on Spider.
Very good. Okay, and we have Jupyter also. Whichever is comfortable for you, we can use that one, either Jupyter or Spider. If you installed Anaconda, that would be fine. Okay. Even online editors are also available, but I prefer you to install Anaconda. Okay, because this is widely used, and then no need to rely on internet and all. Otherwise, if you rely on online editors, always you need to have. So Google Colab is there, that is online editor. Problem is like you need to have continuous internet connection. So now let us create one simple example here. It is A is equals to 25, as I told you. Okay. Then what I need to do, like print the type. Okay. Print the type of this one. Type of A. Okay. just execute this straight away and check out int. Look into this one, class int. So this means, please note it down. What is going to happen? I'll just clear this one. Yeah. What exactly you can notice here is class int. So from this, you will come to know that each and every data type in Python treated as objects. So since the Python is also an object-oriented programming, all the basic data types, including basic types, are also treated as objects. The same way, now I will do one thing like same a is equals to 2.5. Okay. And I will just copy this code and put it over there. Now, what is expected output here is now clear. What will be the expected output? Can you guess?
Float.
It will
Sub
print
float
int as-
because
Yeah, it will print both, isn't it? Just look at this one, because here also we are printing. When you assign the integer it will print int class. And again, when we are assigning floating value to this variable a, it will print. So just look into this. What is output? Yeah, it has printed both. So that is what the beauty of this programming language. So you cannot achieve the same thing in C and C++, because once you declare a variable as int, it will always expect you to assign an int. Okay, you are restricting that variable to own only that type of value. Okay, so here what is going to happen, like based on the data that you assign on the right side, automatically that type will be taken by this variable. Fine. So first it was assigned with int, then it has printed int, class int. Then followed by that one, we have changed the value 2.5. Automatically that variable becomes float here. The same variable has become float here. I'll just change this one. One second. Control C. Yeah. Now what I will do for the same variable a is equals to, I will put it in single quote. So what is the meaning when you put anything in the single quote?
string.
Exactly. Okay, very good. So no need to put only strings. Anything that you enclose in a single quote. Now what is expected output? Let us look into this one. I'll just clear this. Yeah. Why it is giving an error? It's given here only. Look at this one. Indentation. That's why it is very important in Python. So you're not supposed to start any line so other than the first column. You can expect an error over there. Look into this. Int, float, and string. Int, float, and string. So from this, it is very much clear that we have mainly three basic data types, and then no need to explicitly declare any variables by using any keyword